Welcome to CFC Episode 3, where we talk about everything from movies and video games to pop culture and news. I'm Adam.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Michael.
And this week we're all going to get tangled up in Disney. So,
love that.
Yeah, it was great. So this week I want to talk about the new release of Beauty and the Beast right off the bat. We're going to go light on spoilers, nothing major. So if you really don't want to listen to any spoilers about the movie, you can still listen to this podcast. We'll be good.
Also haven't seen it, so that'll be evident.
Missing out. It was an amazing movie.
That's what I'm curious about. I think like with Disney's new movies, I think it's like very interesting. They're obviously going through this live action phase right now. We had Cinderella, we had The Jungle Book, we had Beauty and the Beast.
The Little Mermaid's coming.
Little Mermaid's coming. Aladdin's coming. So like they're just going through all the phases right now, which I find very interesting. I just want to know I saw the Beauty and the Beast. It's been like forever, to be frank. So I don't know remember too much about it, but I like to know how different from it the original it is.
Well, I actually watched the new Beauty and Beast on Sunday morning, and then I watched the old one Sunday night just to compare.
Yeah.
And it was almost identical, other than the stuff that they added. They give the characters more backstory, and that was all they kept the story the same though, and that's the part I loved.
Shot for shot, we're talking.
They were actually shot for shot things the same.
The animated one's an hour and a half, and the newest one's 2 hours. But
okay,
I went into this movie, and I'll be the opposite. I was actually disappointed with the movie.
Yeah.
Because it's the exact same movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think if we're gonna go with the same movie, why even make the movie?
Yeah. So
obviously Disney's there's a financial thing here, but I think
that's so I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'm there's two trains of thoughts. It's either introducing a movie, because the animated is a pretty old movie now. Yeah. Introducing a story to people who haven't seen it, people in elementary school, and I'm that's great. But at the same time, it's for everyone else, it's kind of I've seen this movie. I can go watch this movie for $1 online, and
we have all these different social things being imposed onto these new adaptations, which I find really interesting. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to be irrelevant enough to keep I don't know how many people are watching Cinderella, the live action nowadays. They probably saw it in the theater and I really enjoyed that. It reminded me of Cinderella, the old one, and enjoyed it for that reason. I want to know how many people are reviewing Beauty and the Beast for the idea that oh, I remember that dance scene and how impactful that was, and seeing it again was great. When it's seeing Star Wars again in the theater, and oh my God, the Millennium Falcon. Oh my God, look at all these things that strike a chord with me that I wouldn't get with some brand new movie.
Yeah. I will say this though, the movie was visually great.
It looks amazing.
It was amazing.
Yeah. The costume design, colors, it was all very saturated colors, which I loved.
Yeah.
And Emma Watson has an amazing voice. Did not expect that at all.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she can sing. She sang all her songs, and I heard afterwards that apparently some of the songs she sang live on set. So some are pre-recorded, but some she just sang while they were shooting the movie.
Right.
Yeah, I heard that's a thing they do with musicals in general. When they film it, La La Land, they shot it they had the actors perform it on there, and they lip sync it or something. I heard with Emma Watson specifically that they had to do some. I mean, it sounds coming from musical people, I know that they had some auto tune in the voice.
You kind of need
so,
it.
I feel
it's not that noticeable.
Did.
The Rock and Moana, I always question how much of that is actually his singing voice, and maybe he just has this talent that we don't know about. But,
I was actually watching an honest trailer for Moana, and they were ripping at The Rock for being terrible at singers, and they took his song, the jingle, and started making it a song about how auto-tune can't help him.
Yeah. I thought it went really well though. It's nice and clean. A very charismatic voice will come through no matter what the auto-tune is.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised because when I was watching Moana, I wasn't whoa, this is The Rock. I'm oh, this is Maui.
Yeah. I thought about that too when I was watching this, because I knew it was The Rock. I was it's gonna sound like The Rock. I mean, it does, but I think there's something going on that
I can see.
I believe it. Yeah, that's Maui. That what's make if I can believe that, then they succeeded. So I think they did a good job, and there's always gonna be
The Rock by himself. He can't he could be Maui in a live action.
Yeah.
Just seeing him on stage at the.
In another
same
20
for Moana. The voice of Moana looks like Moana.
In another 20 years, live action Moana.
Older version.
I don't
of The
know
Rock.
how I feel about that.
If we're going in by the pattern of Disney right now, then yeah, it'll be a live action Moana.
I mean, it'll make them the money, but I don't know if it'll have replay value. That's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna. I think I'm gonna watch the cartoon over the live action. every time.
That's actually an interesting question going back to Beauty and the Beast. So like when it's both are out on Blu-ray, which one would you gravitate towards, you think?
I honestly don't know. Like, I love Emma Watson, so just like her being in it, like it's incredible, and like I like how it's more than just the animated version. But I don't know. I really love both of them.
I think a better question to ask that too would be the new generation of people going to be like kids watching this movie and down the line being like, I remember that movie. Like it's going to resonate with them more than like us.
Yeah.
Like I think that applies to any movie that comes out now, and they're going to want to watch this version over the other one they didn't have much of a meaning towards. I'm trying to think of like a movie that had a remake like way later, but like before our time. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but that's definitely a thing I could think of.
Batman.
Yeah. Like I think that's a good example. Like I'd rather watch Christopher Nolan Batman Begins than I would Michael Keaton 1989 Batman that I've never seen honestly, but I've seen Christopher Nolan's movies because they came out when I was growing up. And that's something that resonates with me more than like an older movie.
Yeah. This actually go ahead.
No, also like I feel like kids like the animated stuff more. Like I feel like usually that appeals to them more. So like even though the older one is older, like I feel like kids might still really enjoy the animation.
I think there's something about, I mean, obviously, the animation goes back, like, not just to, like, these cartoons, but, like, it goes back, like, to the beginning of Disney. Like, that is Disney. Yeah. And I think making a live action just automatically loses some of the magic no matter how much you try.
Yeah.
Even if it's beautiful. Like, it looks, like, the new one looks colorful. It looks amazing. Like, in terms of, like, scope, it feels grand.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I was actually wanted to bring this up about Disney is, like, do you think Disney is kind of losing what made Disney Disney? Because like to me Disney was like, because I always over the summer I spent a lot of time like looking into Disney and stuff, and it was just like, you know, they were kind of this people who were like pushing the industry to do something new and better. But now it seems like they're kind of falling into a pattern. They have a formula now.
That's what the live action is. That's what makes me concerned. Like that is a pattern.
It's
like with any company that's going to be that big, there's obviously going to have to be like they need like. There's a profit to be made. There's stakes, high stakes involved. I mean, that's why they have people criticize The Force Awakens for being like these soft reboot movies that we're seeing, like Creed and The Force Awakens, and then the Blair Witch like one that came out last year, and then like they're basically like they're sequels, but they're like reboots. Yeah, like that's what they are. They're good, but they're not like, innovative.
Yeah, it was just like
which is like a discussion in itself.
You know, it's like when I like show my kid in the future like a Disney movie, is he gonna be like, wow, this is new, or I'm gonna be like, here's Cinderella 5?
Yeah.
And it's just like
what would Cinderella 5 even be? That's the question.
I mean, but like they just came out with Moana. Like I think they still got it. Like I would watch Moana and I would watch like Aladdin and like just all their princess movies. Like I feel like they're
great movies, but I'm just saying like, you know, there's not it's still Moana's still technically a princess movie.
I think a good I think Disney Magic's still there, obviously though. Like I don't know what kind of Disney Magic like in terms of the films, it's different, but like I went to Hawaii like a few years ago, and like there's a Disney owned resort in Hawaii, and like Disney kills it in terms of like their physical, like their landmarks and stuff. Like there's magic there, and they use their properties really, really well. I imagine if I went to Hawaii nowadays and a bunch of Moana stuff, and I'd be feeling that Disney magic and like the just the warmth of like I think
the castle at the beginning of every movie with the jingle. Like not gonna try remaking it, but it's just like, you know, that's like the Disney magic, I think. But I'm just like, you know, I don't want that to go away.
I think like. Now that we're talking about it, I'm thinking about what is the Disney magic, and I think like a lot of the Disney magic has to do with like I don't know, like this warmth. Like when I watched Moana, I was just like had a warm like feeling inside at the end of it, or like, you know, I think that's the goal of any of the Disney movies, like Zootopia, Tangled, Big Hero 6, like just like these people that like I mean, there's a lot of love in the movie.
But I've actually I watched Moana and I didn't get the Disney feeling, like Disney and Frozen and Big Hero 6. I didn't get that from those movies. They're great movies, but I'm not like, you know, I'm kind of like I'm missing something.
But I think that's a good point, because I think Moana had like that feeling just because it was like music was involved. Yeah. And I think that's been a shtick of Disney, that you just associate any music with like, oh, that's like a Disney thing and that's great.
Yeah, definitely. But like the cartoons with like the songs just every so often, like. I mean, that's Disney for me.
I mean, I'd have to go back and like watch like the classics and stuff to like really compare like and see like if there's anything missing. But I think if anything, at the very least, it's just an evolution.
Yeah.
We're talking about a company that's been around for 100 years in film.
Yeah, but
and like that's gonna evolve over time. So like,
yeah,
is it something that still resonates?
There's a personal thing for me, especially with like 2D animation versus 3D animation. I was actually looking when I was looking into ideas for this podcast. I was looking at why Disney went away from 2D animation. And I was like, they were like, directors at Disney just don't want to make 2D films anymore. It's all 3D.
They like shut down their like animations for those things like a while ago.
They're still there, like
Really?
Like they're not like full blown studios, but they can. From my understanding, they can. It would take time, but if they wanted to make a 2D film, they still have the technical capabilities to.
And they could get the people for it.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
They still, some of their shorts are still like,
Yeah.
2D.
Yeah, but they're
Yeah,
not
that
full blown.
surprised me when I watched like Beauty and the Beast.
But
Like,
it's
I didn't
like-
remember that was 2D after watching all the new ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
What
I'm
was
just.
the movie? Was it Princess and the Frog?
That
That
was-
was like their last
Yep.
2D, like straight up like pure animation throughout. Like
Yeah, it was an interview for Princess and the Frog, and he was like, he said that the movie didn't do well at the box office because it was released between Avatar, I think, or
Ugh.
like right next to Avatar.
yeah.
So it was like, people are like, traditional princess movie or go see Avatar, and everyone just kind of gravitated to Avatar.
Yeah.
But I was just like, when I watch like a 3D CG movie, I'm like, it's hard because I always see like the rigging and the computer doing the stuff.
It's funny you say that because I think I'd rather rewatch. Princess and the Frog probably has way more replayability than Avatar does,
Yeah,
which
definitely.
is like funny.
Avatar is that sugary candy you like.
It's the biggest movie nobody talks about,
Yeah,
which is just
Avatar 2 coming out sometime.
Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5,
Yeah.
which is what James Cameron's writing all at the same time. It doesn't seem like it's going to exist, but
No.
I don't know.
Something
The dude knows how to make big blockbuster sequels, so
Yeah.
we'll see where that goes anyway.
Yeah. But what was it? I'll speak more on 2D. Like on YouTube, it's Aaron. I'm gonna try his last name. He's an animator. He animated Beast in the original Beauty and the Beast, and he does like tutorials and stuff. And he was showing you how he drew the Beast, and I was just like, frame by frame, putting each line in for the Beast. I'm like, that's the Disney magic to me.
Yeah.
People are going
It's
line by
that
line.
slaving away at like making something. I mean, like we're going back to like So in the Seven Dwarfs. Like that's literally like
Yeah. Just
the magic was literally just the effort it took to make that movie, and
How
like
it actually became a thing.
made it
somehow.
was like foundational to like everything that came after it. Like
Yeah.
I think Disney is just coming to its own like safe space where like
yeah.
they
But
don't see the need for the most part to like.
But they still make great stories. I mean, like
It's all great.
Tangled I was really surprised by Tangled.
Yeah.
I was like,
Great movie.
I watched that movie and I'm like, this was I was going in, I'm like, it's Disney movie. It's princess. Here's what I expect. I'm like, that movie actually exceeded my expectations, which I was surprised by.
Yeah.
And I go into every Disney movie like, it's Disney. I can't wait. Like, this is gonna be great.
Yeah, I like to
I've never
think.
really been disappointed though.
Yeah, I like to think though, like if I took away Disney from it, I'd still be like, yeah, like that movie, like
Yeah.
is great. And I'm trying to think of like any movies that like if you took away the Disney name, like Disney was involved with it, no Disney logo at the beginning, like would it take away from like the movie, or like you're kind of like, oh, it's not really Disney, it's just like an animation movie. But I think my answer to that is like, no.
Yeah, I mean, every Disney movie can stand without the name.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like,
There's-
the name is great and it helps. Disney, the name Disney helps with money.
Yeah.
But it's like if you take the talent and put them behind studio, like make a studio named Studio Blank, and it's like that movie would be great, and then Studio Blank would be great because it's all about the people making the movie.
Yeah, and they're all really like well structured films. But like I said, like like we're talking about that Disney magic. Like I'm trying to think, like going down the list of just the past movies in the past 5 years. Like I don't know, Wreck-It Ralph, Big Hero 6. I mean, Frozen definitely had magic, I feel like. But then again, it's the music thing.
Yeah.
Like we're
Music
talking
always
about
makes
like
it
how it
better.
evolves and stuff. I'm still like trying to figure out like what is it about Disney that's so magical? Is it just because of the way they tell their story, or is it the like?
It's great at having I think the most important thing for a movie is having like a satisfying ending, and every Disney movie has a satisfying ending.
It's always a happy ever after kind of thing,
Yeah.
for the most part.
I don't know. I'm still mad at Big Hero 6 and like not even the end, the beginning.
I'm
Still mad.
Oh, the family.
Never got over that.
I'll be blatantly honest. Big Hero 6 is like one of my least favorite Disney movies.
Why? Let's talk about that.
I find it so just boring. I mean, it's like here's like everyone's like if you take Baymax out of the movie, no one would like that movie. And I'm like,
Baymax is the movie.
Baymax is the movie.
I
I'll
love
give you that.
him.
Baymax is the movie, and everyone's like Baymax. Oh,
But
can we talk about spoilers?
I don't. Now that I think about that, I don't know. Like the main kid, like in that movie, was like I think it was more about like that journey of like.
Yeah.
To be frank, I haven't seen like the end of the movie, but like I think like as I watched it and stuff, obviously at the very beginning, spoiler, the family dies like at the beginning, or his brother. Was it his brother?
It was his
It's
brother.
been a while since I've seen it.
His parents were already dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like overcoming that and finding like this bond with this like lovable guy, and like I don't know his journey. I don't know how it ends, but I like to imagine that like
I like the journey, but I mean like the.
And there was some great action, and like I mean obviously that's not Disney. It's just like a good movie.
Yeah, but
like,
the plot just like has nothing really substantial. It's like, here's this kid's journey. All right, I'm interested in the journey, but the way they get to the journey is like, you know, the main villain's a scientist that is, spoilers, his daughter died in the dimension. I'm like, you're a scientist. You invented this machine. You should understand the math to understand that your daughter is still alive and you can go and get her.
yeah.
And then you did come up with this convoluted plan to get revenge on some guy for being annoying. And then people get mad that Baymax died. I'm like, Baymax didn't die. He's a robot with a heart, and you saved his heart in the end.
It's like Groot. Like
Yeah.
he'll come back.
All the thing that missed is just the fluffy white shell, which you can replace that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's, you know, I'm just like,
I mean, I understand what you're saying though, because it's like while it's still a very cohesive film,
yeah,
it's
it's like,
different from the typical Disney shtick.
I'm like,
Which
I'm not even comparing it to a Disney movie. I'm comparing it to like other superhero movies. So.
You would put a superhero movie. Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely a
Yeah, it definitely is. Like when you think about it.
I mean, that's how they marketed it. I'm like, you know, I want Disney to do more of that type of thing where it's not like, you know, music and everything, but I'm just like, I love the premise of the movie.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah,
you know.
I loved it. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm like a little bit biased because I watched it like on spring break with my best friend, and we were both just sitting there crying.
Yeah.
That's also
Saw it
another
with a bunch of
20
people.
minutes.
more about the Disney magic is like, you know, everyone sees Disney movies with their families and their friends. You don't really just go to a Disney movie by yourself.
I saw it with like a bunch of high school dudes. Like when I was a swimmer, and like back then it was just like watching Big Hero 6. It was just like a fun time. Like I don't think there's an age restriction or limit to any of these films, which makes them that magical. I think that's part of the magic, is like anyone could really take a piece out of this movie and apply it to their own life. I mean, like Pixar's the gold, like has it down to a science. I mean, like that's a whole nother discussion in itself. But like, I mean, even Zootopia like was like obviously a very socially relevant film that
I hope more movies try to get away from that being idea of and more anime movies get away from being a kids movie to like more hard content, like more theme based.
There's a lot of reality being built into them. I mean, like I'm gonna go back to Pixar again because Monsters University I thought had a really good theme where it's like
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's really good, but I think a big theme of that movie is like no matter how hard you try, sometimes it's not going to be enough, and you're gonna have to compromise in life, and like that's just the nature of life, and I'm not gonna tell you otherwise. Which I loved because like, and while it's not no Monsters Inc. I think there's always something to take away from these films. Which makes it just like I think. That in itself is like a magical thing, and like how you execute that is the Disney magic.
Oh yeah, that's a great way to put it. I'm like, execution's really down how Disney does it.
Yeah, but like they do it so well. I mean, like there's a certain formula to it, like death that's
tragic backstory.
Like it starts off happy, then it's tragic, and then like
add a few musical numbers,
a few relationship like dramas and stuff.
Oh, back to Moana, going over tropes. I don't like the trope of how you have to have a comedic sidekick, you know. In Moana, you had the chicken.
The chicken. I love the chicken.
And the pig. The only reason the pig was there was so they could sell pig plushes.
The pig, it was supposed to be like a metaphor for like her dad, because her dad went like over what was it? He like went into the ocean and then his friend died, and Moana went into the ocean. Her friend did not die. Although he came really close, and I don't know how he survived.
But then they were just like, oh, okay, now you're on the island. You're out. You're not in the story for the rest of it, you know.
Like,
do you not like Olaf and Frozen?
What?
Do you not like Olaf and Frozen? I mean, he's like
he had some good jokes though.
Yeah,
and he was actually in the movie.
He was more structured into the movie, so it's a little different. But like, I think, like, I mean, the chicken made me laugh. I think it was just silly. I think it wasn't used that much. Like that whole scene where they had like the guys with the little like skull things. I don't know what those were called, but like and like he was just like bouncing all over the place. I love that. Like it was just funny. And
but
like
I found the funniest like things were like the interactions between Maui and Moana. I'm like, I forgot her name. Her name is Moana.
Yeah, and like the tattoo.
Yeah,
like
I think
That little guy was the
but
best.
I just felt like the chicken, like I knew the chicken was gonna be that character you don't really think about, and then he's there to save the
It's just
day.
mindless comic relief. I don't know. I don't think there's anything bad about that though, because I don't think it took away from the film itself.
I don't like. This is, like you said, the good word, mindless comic relief. I don't like the word. I don't like something that would be considered mindless. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, make me laugh, but make me think. Give me.
Yeah.
Don't
that's true.
feel like just like this is. It's kind of like the laugh track in a TV sitcom. It's like the laugh track is there to tell you when to laugh. It's kind of like
It's kind of a bad prospect where it's like, okay, we need to tell you when to laugh because
Yeah.
it's not necessarily that obvious.
Well, I mean,
But
have you
can
ever
you
seen,
imagine a TV show without the laugh track?
Have you ever
That's
seen-
just weird.
It's on YouTube. It's like The Big Bang Theory without the laugh track, and it's really bad.
It's terrible.
And it's
so
just like,
awkward.
that's how I kind of see the chicken. The chicken's there to tell you, like, to help you get over the hump, and just be like, here's kind of the sad part, but all right, remember this is
What
a funny
about
kids
the-
movie. Here's a chicken.
What about the sloths in Zootopia? Like, does that would you say that's like a? I wouldn't say it made you think, but like it's a little more clever.
Yeah, that was clever. That was like clever. Like, okay,
Like,
I see you're
I
doing
was
the pun.
dying at
yeah,
that scene. I still laugh at that scene every time I see it. Like it's
yeah.
such
See,
a
there's more to the joke there. And that's
yeah,
like,
like
that's-
there's a whole premise and they kind of run with it. Like I just thought that was great, and then
yeah, and then he wasn't like the sloth wasn't the main character of the movie.
and neither was the chicken.
Well,
It's just like
the chicken's chicken has probably the third character with the most screen time, probably.
yeah.
Well, I mean, she is on the
That's-
ocean by
yeah.
herself
That's a
for
bad
the majority
yeah,
of a movie.
It's Moana. The whole point is Moana and Maui on this ocean, and like
Yeah, but I mean, I think they could have done like Moana on the ocean with the ocean, because the ocean was a character.
the ocean. Yeah, that's true. That is a good
I
point.
really love that. in the
Yeah,
movie.
I mean,
the
like,
ocean was its own person.
The ocean was a great character.
Yeah.
I laughed the most at the ocean, like what the ocean did. When
Yeah.
like Maui would push Moana off and the
That
ocean
is a
would
good
bring her.
point.
That was hilarious. I mean, like,
But also, I feel like if Moana was actually on an ocean by herself, like she'd probably go crazy. Like I know, like, can you imagine a person just on a raft? Like,
great
in the middle of
themes
the
to
ocean?
explore in a movie.
Yeah.
Give it more
I keep
depth.
thinking to myself like, oh, the chicken was there for Moana to talk to, but honestly, the chicken was like a dumb klutz the whole time. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like they did like,
But then at the same time, like I did laugh, so like,
but they
they
could
got me there.
I was just like, I just draw a blank on everything. It's like, it's just like they could have I'm not mad at their being a chicken, but I'm mad at their just did nothing with the chicken. It was just like it's there to laugh at.
Like it made a noise, and you're like, ha ha, ha, and, like move
Yeah, it's
on.
fine.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, I'm just.
that's
like,
true. I'm trying to think of other like Disney movies that had like really good quote comic relief characters. I mean, like I love the sloth. I think it's just like a clever premise. I think there's a place for comic relief in film. I don't think.
I mean,
Okay,
there's definitely is.
Well, I
but-
mean, like you said, like make you think with a comic. I mean, like with a comic relief character. But I think like I don't think it's a duty of a comic relief character to like express more things to think about in the movie.
But I mean, it's just like it doesn't necessarily more to think about, but just don't be there for.
You wanted it to be a little more.
Yeah, just don't be there for the obvious. Like, don't be so obvious.
Yeah.
I think the new Beauty and the Beast does as well with Gaston's friend.
He is a great character.
Yeah, he's
LaFoe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that his
Josh
name?
Gad's character.
I
yeah.
think that's it.
Yeah, he does. He's more of a comic relief character, but he actually has parts to the movie, which is great.
Yeah,
It's
and they
like,
actually develop his character like pretty well for like some
So I've heard.
very little
So
screen
I
time.
heard it's a little overblown though. The whole controversy, but
there's no controversy.
yeah.
I mean, there's a controversy outside the movie.
People, like I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the movie itself. I'm talking
Yeah.
about like the people talking about the movie.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
way-
little overblown.
Like, my mom
Like
watched
if
it
the
and
director
did
didn't
not
say
get it
anything
until
about
the
like
end.
LeFou's character, I think is it correct that like you probably wouldn't have noticed anything.
Not
Like,
until the end.
Yeah.
Like the end, they show him
They're
like,
like a-
dancing with another guy, and that's like my mom was like, "Oh."
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
and I
I'm-
heard like it was like just eye contact with another guy. That's
You
what
know-
I heard. Like,
It's kind of like if you know it going in, you'll pick up a couple subtle
or
things.
you're gonna be looking really hard for it.
Yeah,
too.
you don't even have to look really hard for it, but like by the
People will.
end, but if you didn't know it, you would be fine, and by the end, it would be like, oh, it clicks, and then like going back and rewatching it, you would be like, I get it now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think
But, like,
Like it's like I don't think any kid would pick up on that. Like
and is it like that relevant?
No,
It
it's
doesn't
not.
sound like it.
It's
like,
not relevant
it just,
at all.
It just is. It's like, hey, look at us. We're so like
they could have ended like
that's what I was talking about. Like with these like little add-ons and stuff. Like, okay, LeFou's gay. Like, cool. Like, it doesn't add anything. It doesn't make me want to watch the movie again.
no,
like,
I'm just
it
gonna
had
I'll stick with
nothing
my
with the
cartoon
story.
movie. Thank
Yeah.
you. Like.
yeah.
I hope like I don't know like people I kind of want Disney to be a little bold with these live action. I want to see Aladdin. Like there's talks about they're gonna actually cast like I don't know, not sure if this is 100% true, like Middle Eastern people like for Aladdin or like actual like, but I'm not really sure like how they're gonna cast the genie. I mean, like that's Robin Williams' character. Like I don't know. I think they need to be like they need to have their own direction because like there's obviously like just gonna be a whole new group of people. I mean like Disney obviously we're playing into our safe spaces like, and I think it's working for them now. But I just want to see like as just a moviegoer like I would just a little innovation. Like
I would love to see a new live action concept. You know, just
live
just like you know.
Like a Pirates of the Caribbean-esque. I mean, that like in terms of like it's a live action thing based off of like a property of like.
No, just completely new IP, new property. You know, to start live action because most of their.
When was the last time they did this? Was it Pirates of the Caribbean? Like the live? I mean, like it's their.
It's
what's it based off of? Was the ride before the movies? Like that's what I want to know. I think it's based off the ride.
I don't know if it's based off the ride, but there was something before.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean that's a good point.
That's a new territory.
Yeah.
Like something that Disney, you know, needs to explore. I mean, like, it's exciting to hear, like, you know, we talk Disney, you know, meddling with Star Wars and Marvel and stuff, but people are getting sick of those things because, like,
I don't want them just buying up properties. I want them to like make some. I feel like they have to have something in the works.
Pixar was. That's what like this animation studios was. But I can't deny that I love the films and I'm excited. You know, every time a Disney movie comes out.
Yeah, it'll always be great. All right. Well, it's about time we wrap up. Time for our question of the week for each of your favorite movies. And since we've been talking about Disney, I'm going to ask you for your favorite Disney movie.
I'm kind of going to think about this, so you guys have to. I'd say you guys pick your movies and say why.
Well, my favorite right now has got to be the new Beauty and the Beast, and I know it's because I just saw it less than a week ago, but it will be my favorite movie until the next one comes out, most likely. Moana was my favorite until the new one came out.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You want to go first?
I'll pick Frozen. I mean, I was like kind of out of Disney for a while, and then I watched Frozen, and I'm like, okay, I should go back. And it was like, I went back, and I was really happy too.
Yeah. Should we do like animation studios, like no Pixar? I'm thinking like I had a Pixar one in mind. I think that's a bad call. Yeah. This is so hard. Honestly, Moana, I wasn't like the biggest fan of. I mean, like I loved it, but I don't think I'm gonna put it up there in terms of the best. I like Wreck-It Ralph. I think it's like
Wreck-It Ralph was good.
Video game. Like you know, I don't even think you have to like video games. I think it's a good story. I love John C. Reilly as Wreck-It Ralph, and I think that was just like a fun movie. So
Wreck-It Ralph is like I think a good example of what Disney should do.
Yeah, it was like different a little bit, but like you know, it was within their range. I don't know, but that's my pick.
All right. Well, I got a couple announcements. Our club's Creative Filming Club has our new movie coming out next month, What Are Friends For, screening Saturday, April 8th at 8 p.m. at Memorial Hall. And there will be a second What Are Friends For screening with Behind the Scenes Friday, April 14th at Holmes Hall and Performance Studio. If you need help figuring out where to go or want more information, contact us via Twitter or Facebook. Thanks. We'll see you next week.